Welcome, yogi, to this gentle yoga stretch for when you're feeling tired or just have a lack of energy. This isn't necessarily an energizing practice, but really just honoring that desire you have to move and to stretch. As with all of my classes, you might benefit from having your blanket and blocks and any other props you have. If you have a bolster, grab that. If you don't have any of those things, some towels sometimes help in some other poses, but you can do this practice without any props at all if you don't have them. We're going to begin in constructive rest, so that's lying on your back. And if your neck is tight and stiff, you're welcome to bring your blanket in or a pillow in underneath your head. And you'll lie back. And with the feet just a touch wider than your hips, turn your toes a few inches or a few degrees in towards one another and let your knees fall together. So the knees are bent. This should help the low back settle down towards the ground. Adjust your shoulders a bit. Make sure you feel comfortable. Close your eyes. With your hands resting comfortably, relax your arms. Relax your shoulders, relax your belly. Relax your legs. Soften any tension from your face. And start to breathe in and out through your nose if you can. Inhaling into belly and into your chest. And exhaling from your chest and from your belly. Just a few of these full breaths in and slow exhales. See what you can let go of here. This pose is about doing less rather than more, and giving you an opportunity to just focus on your full breath and releasing tension. Expand all the way out when you breathe in into the belly, into the sides of your torso, into the floor. Same with your chest. And just a few more breaths, yogi. And so to come out of this, start to wiggle your feet towards one another until they're a hip distance apart. Extend your left leg out and rest it down on the ground, and pull your right knee in towards you. Hold on to either your shin or your thigh, and gently draw it in towards your chest. And relax your shoulders again. Stretch your left leg out, and then relax it. And you can continue to be still here. If it feels good, just circle your right foot, moving your ankle, drawing some circles with the toes. Go one way, and try the other way too. Good. And let's take this into a twist. Let your right toes come to the mat for a moment with your knee bent. Use that right foot to help you move your hips to the right, and lift your foot back up and guide your right knee to the left side of your space. Coming into a spinal twist. Now your right arm can stretch straight out, or today perhaps make a cactus shape. And looking out towards the right side as that right knee comes over towards the left side. If you can rest your right foot on something, it might be more comfortable. And this is where your props can help you. If you feel it's too twisty, you can put a block underneath your knee, or a pillow there, or a bolster. And just breathe. Let your shoulders melt down towards the floor. And come back up, please, Yogi. Back up to the middle. Realign your spine, bring your hips back to the middle. And pull your left knee in and extend your right leg out and rest it on the ground now. So get that right leg nice and long. You can hold onto your shin of your left foot or left leg or your thigh of your left leg and gently pull it in towards you. And adjust your head and neck and shoulders. Make sure you still feel quite natural in the neck positioning. If you feel like your chin's really high, just slide your blanket under your head. If you want to start circling your left ankle and foot, you can. If you'd rather just be still, that's okay too. And try going the opposite way, making circles the other direction. Good. And release your left foot to the floor. Press into it lightly to help you move your hips over to the left. And then guide your left foot over to the right side. And left knee to the right side. Your left arm can reach straight out, or it can become a cactus. And you can look gently towards the left, so you're stretching all the way through your spine and into your neck. And a reminder, if you can let your left foot rest on something, please do, whether it's the leg or the floor. And if you need a blanket or a pillow or anything underneath that left knee for some support, that's good too. And then you can start to come back up to the middle. Bring your hips back to center. Feet almost as wide as your mat, a little bit wider than your hips there, and go side to side with your knees. Just into some windshield wipers to move your hips and your low back. Your hands can rest wherever they want to on your belly or out to the sides. And you can turn your head the other way to your knees. So as your knees go right, your head turns left. And then as your knees go left, your head goes right. You can go as slow as you'd like. Lovely, Yogi. Come back up to the middle. Pull your knees in towards you. Hold on to your shins. So both coming in now. A gentle rock across your low back. Just side to side, nice and easy. And then either rock up to sitting, or if you'd like to rock to your side and press your way up, you're going to make your way up and into a cross-legged seat. Now I'm going to turn to face you here so you can see what the deal is. We've got our right foot in front of the left for right now. And this again, where some props can be useful. If you're tighter in your hips, elevate them. So whether you sit on a blanket or a block or a couch cushion, get your hips up a little bit. It'll make this more comfortable. And so right shin in front of left. Sit up and take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, walk your hands forwards. And start to fold a hip stretch. Keeping the spine quite long, but understanding that you're feeling a little bit tired, or perhaps just not really feeling like practicing 100%. So if that's the case, you can let this slouch a little bit, but don't let that be to make the pose deeper, just as a softening rather than a deepening. And we'll walk the hands over to the right, just as far as they want to go. We're coming into a side stretch. So it's your left fingertips reach further. And just anchor them to the mat. And take your breath into the left side of your body here, all the way through your waist, into your ribs, into the underarm. And back through center. We'll do the same on the other side. All the way over to the left with the right hand reaching more. A feeling of heaviness through your right sit bone. And breathing into that right waist, the right ribs, into the arm. Lovely, come back to the middle. And sit your way back up again. Now bring your fingertips behind you, thumbs forwards, fingers back. It might be that your fingertips, especially if you're elevated onto your blocks, might be fingertips on the floor. If you're sat flat on the ground, you might place your palms on the floor. And lightly squeeze your shoulder blades together and lift your chin and chest. And so you have just a little bit of extension here in the front of your body, expansion in the front of your body. Relax your jaw. And we'll soften down. Switch across of your legs. So left is in front of right now. And take a breath in, get taller. And as you exhale, fold forwards. You can be on your fingertips, you can be on your palms, you might be on your forearms. If you want additional support, if you're on your hands, you could always put your blocks under your forearms too. And lifting up enough to walk your hands over to the left first this time. Reach again through your right fingertips, just like you did before. And backing up to the center and over to the other side. Let the left hand do the most of the reaching. Soften down towards your right knee, right thigh. And breathe. And come back to the middle. And sit your way up. Fingertips behind you. It can be fingers or palms down. Fingers back, thumbs forwards. Lift your chest, lift your chin. Gently squeeze your shoulders together and feel like they're lifting up to the ceiling. Another deep breath here. Lovely, yogi. Start to drop your chest back down to neutral. And we're going to make our way to tabletop or all fours. You can come over your cross legs. You can tuck your feet out to the side. And you can face either direction on your mat. A reminder, if your knees don't like the pressure, to put your blanket underneath them when we're in tabletop. We're going to take a few rounds of cat-cow. So plant your hands under your shoulders with your fingers slightly spread. And situate your hips right over your knees. And your inhale, look forwards, tuck your toes, let your belly drop down and lift your tailbone high. And as you exhale, press the tops of your feet down, lift your navel up, and draw your chin towards your chest. And on your inhale, arch your back, tuck your toes. And on your exhale, round it out. And just a couple more of those, please, yogis. It's moving the spine in its full range, forwards and back. It's going at your pace. Last one for now. And settle into child's pose. In your child's pose, you can have your knees together if your low back has been feeling a little bit stiff, or if you need a little bit extra room for the hips and to breathe today, let the knees widen. And you can put your forearms underneath your face and rest your head on it. And let some of attention go from your spine and from your ribs and from your shoulders. Now listening to what your body needs. If you need a little bit longer in child's pose, if you're really feeling the fatigue, stay here in child's pose. If a down dog feels like it will be a good idea, come on up, tabletop. And tuck your toes and lift your hips up and back. So an option to take this down dog, but also an option to stay in child's pose if that just would feel better, if your arms are feeling tired. It just doesn't feel like a good idea to be upside down. So relax your relax your neck, but push lightly through your shoulders. Soften your knees so it doesn't have to be the most effort you've ever had in a down dog. Do keep your shoulders active, but don't worry about straightening your legs or getting your heels down. Just a couple more breaths here. Now transition from wherever you are into a forward fold. So walk your hands back and your feet forwards a little bit. So you end up around the middle of your mat in a forward fold. Now if your hands don't comfortably reach the floor, grab your blocks and put them underneath them to extend your arms and give you the space to do so. And then pedal your legs, so bend one knee and then the other in this forward fold. Again, just loosening things up without too much effort. Just keep pedaling at your pace. Keeping your heels down in the pedal will help you to gently stretch into the outer hip and the IT bend. Also help you to feel grounded and stable. Good job, Yogi. And you can stop pedaling, relax in your forward fold for a couple more breaths. Now with the focus on the hamstrings, so the legs relatively straight. And if you tend to hyperextend your joints, remember to soften the knees a tiny bit, keeping the spine long in your fold. Whether your hands are on the floor or the blocks, doesn't matter. We're going to transition this into goddess pose. So in this pose, if you're feeling some stiffness in your hips, you'll place your blanket behind you and let your heels come up onto it. And you'll let your hips drop down. Did I say hips onto that? Heels onto your blanket and hips drop down. And so then you can either keep your fingertips on the floor if you need a little support, or place the hands together. Soften your eyes or close them. Now it might be that you're comfortable with your heels on the ground. That's okay too. And again, you might benefit from your blanket in this next pose. we're going to take a seat. So you might reach back with a hand to help you down. You might drop straight down. Put the soles of your feet together when you get there. So just like in your cross-legged seat earlier, the elevation in your hips really helps if your hips are tighter. Some of you will be comfortable sitting directly on the floor, and that's okay too. Sit up tall and start to lean forwards. And you might close your eyes. And sitting up, remaining in the orientation you're at, extend your right leg off at an angle. It's like you'd be in a wide-legged fold, but keep this left foot in that half Baddha konasana. So your left foot is centered, your right foot is off at an angle. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, fold forwards again. So that might be that your fingertips walk forwards. You might be able to place your palms. You may be able to place your forearms down. So as you start to lean forwards, this is a focus here on your inner thigh stretch. If you get any discomfort in your left knee, left side, you can prop your bolster or your block underneath it for that support that should alleviate that. There's no forcing here, no striving. Just breathing deeply. And sitting your way up, you can slide your right foot in and extend your left leg out now. Taking a moment to sit upright, doing your best to tilt your pelvis forwards with this. Fingertips on the floor or palms on the floor or forearms on the floor if that feels comfortable without forcing anything. And again, if you have any right knee or right hip discomfort, place something, a pillow or a block underneath it to support it. And start to make your way up. That's it, yogi. Bring your foot in. And you can move your hips a little bit side to side. We're going to make our way back down to the floor, preparing for Shavasana. So you might choose to use your blanket or your bolster in this pose. I'm going to use a bolster for this one and place it behind where your knees are going to go. And your blanket might be, if you have a spare one, underneath your head. So make yourself comfortable and lie back. Your heels rest on the floor. If you don't have anything to place under your knees, that's fine. You could take constructive rest. Again, if your low back doesn't like to lie flat, that's the pose that we started out in today. So take a few moments to settle. Make sure your clothes are comfortable on you. If you'd like a blanket over you, if it's a little chilly, pull one up and over. Maybe cover your eyes with an eye pillow. And just let your arms rest out to the sides. You can relax your body, let your heels soften into the floor, the backs of your legs into the bolster or the floor. Feel the glutes and pelvis relax. Soften the abdomen. Let the middle of your back, your shoulders melt into the mat. Relax your arms and your hands. And make sure there's no tension in the face, in your eyes, your mouth. Let your attention just drop back and down, away from the busyness of your mind. And starting to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Take a belly breath and sigh out. And clasp your hands together, press them up to the ceiling, breathe in, reach your toes. And then bring your knees in. When you exhale, you can roll to your side, or you can start to sit straight up. And settling into a comfortable seat for a moment. Let your hands come together in front of you. And thank yourself for coming to your mat today. Let's together take one more full breath in and out. Thank you for your practice, Yogi. Namaste.